beautiful people. Welcome to the Dr. Joy Show, your prescription for total wellness. And I'm your host, Dr. Joy. We're going to talk about balance today with the Balance Doctor. But before we get started, you know what we do on the Dr. Joy Show? We take it down with 3 deep breaths. Are you ready? Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Last one. Inhale. Exhale. How do you feel? I know I feel great.
That was wonderful.
It was, wasn't it?
Yes.
I want to welcome Dr. Lisa Herbert, the Balance Doctor, to the Dr. Joy Show.
Thank
How are
you so much, Dr. Joy, for having me. I'm excited to be here.
You are the founder of Just the Right Balance.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about you first and then how you weaved your web to where you are now.
Okay, sure. Well, I'm a mother, I'm a wife, I'm a family physician. I've been a family physician for the past 22 years. I had my own private practice where I saw patients of all ages, treated various diseases and illnesses. So during that time as a physician, what I started to realize was that I wasn't really able to treat the whole person unless I really knew more about them personally, what they were going through, their obstacles that they were going through in their personal lives, in their relationships, or in their careers. And once I sort of was able to break through, with the patient, I was able to then better able to help them manage their diseases and their illness. Because a lot of times, if your blood pressure is not controlled, it could be because you're having stress on the job. Or if your diabetes is not being controlled, it could be because you're going through something, in your family.
Right.
So that aspect of helping people really started to intrigue me, really being able to get to know who that person was and being able to help them kind of navigate through the different obstacles that they were having, in their life.
Now, was that your thing to always help people even back when you were in college?
Yes, actually, yes. So I think that just growing up, I've always been the person like in my family that people will come and talk to in terms of problems. And also in college.
Stony Brook!
Stony Brook!
Stony Brook! Woo, woo. We both went to Stony Brook. Okay.
Yeah, so in college, when I decided to be a pre-med major, I realized that there weren't a lot of resources, for students in terms of helping them to navigate through what the requirements were, helping them to find internships and things like that, especially for students of color. There really wasn't any resources. So myself and actually 3 other students, we decided to form our own group. So we formed a student organization, called Minorities in Medicine, which actually stayed in existence, I'm happy to say, for 19 years.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah, and we helped a multitude of students, really help them to find their way. So that whole helping people and navigating and getting over obstacles definitely, has been in my blood for a long time.
So you were a pre-med major at Stony Brook. What was that like, being a pre-med major? What kind of courses did you take?
Yeah, so basically in order to get into medical school, you need to take what's called core curriculum classes.
Okay.
So you have to take a year of English, a year of calculus, a year of biology, a year of chemistry, a year of organic chemistry, and a year of physics.
See, I got stuck at Chem 131. we already had that conversation.
Yes,
but I had the math classes covered, but that chemistry, woo, Lord Jesus. Okay.
Yes, there are a lot of courses that they call the weaving out courses.
Yeah, that Chem 131 was a weed out course. I was weeded right out to the side, exit stage left.
Yes. So, so basically medical school wanted those core curriculum of classes. You had to take, obviously, the MCATs, which is an entrance exam.
Right.
And then basically build a resume to, sort of just portray to the schools your interest and things like that. And and Stony Brook really emphasized being a well-rounded student,
Yeah.
which meant that they didn't want you didn't necessarily have to major in a science. So if you wanted to, major in English, you could. Or if you wanted to major in psychology, you could, as long as you took those core curriculum of classes.
And then with you forming that organization, I'm sure enhanced your application to med school because they saw that you were passionate about it.
Yeah, definitely.
So you were in family medicine 20 plus years.
Yes.
And you made the transition.
Yes.
What was the light bulb moment? Because I was at one of your awards ceremonies. This lady right here, the Balance Doctor, she has won numerous awards for her contribution to the medical field. So I was there, and we applauded you. And so why? The light bulb. Yeah.
Yes, definitely a light bulb moment. I think that, sometimes as women, we just kind of get on this hamster wheel and we just continue to do what we think we're supposed to do every day in terms of, our careers and our families, never really taking a moment to kind of sit back and just, smell the roses and kind of just see where our life is at this point.
Right.
And I started to feel, the demands of having a practice, the demands of raising a family. And I actually really didn't realize it was my family who pointed it out to me, that it was starting to change me in some way, So my daughter, love her to death. I have 2 children. And my daughter basically, said to me one day, Mom, you're looking a little stressed. What's
Really?
going on? Yeah.
Okay.
And then she would say, I don't feel like sometimes when we have conversations that you're fully present.
Oh.
Yeah, that you're listening. She doesn't use the word present, but she
Okay.
said, that you're listening. So I had to kind of take a step back and really reassess my life, and kind of what was going on at that time. So I did. I took her word, and, my husband obviously, chimed in as well. And I had to really just take a look and see, where I was and what I wanted and what was really going on.
Okay.
So,
how long did it take you to figure that out?
it took years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It really took years to figure it out. Again, because I think sometimes we feel like if we work harder,
Right.
things will get better, or,
Right.
Things are going to change. But
Right.
unless you're really intentional,
Right.
I mean, things really don't change.
Right.
So, so a good friend of mine, she suggested that I hire a coach, actually.
Good for
And so I took her recommendation, I hired a coach, and what she was able to do was really just help me see what I wasn't seeing, and to help me kind of navigate through what I wanted for myself, at this point, instead of always thinking about, giving to everybody else.
you. Right. But you know what? Dr. Lisa, if I could just call you that, the Balance Doctor. I have to applaud you because you took a suggestion of someone the opinion that you valued. You sought out that help. But you know what's really critical here is that you did the work. Because there's lots of coaches out there, okay? And the coaches have lots of clients. But the clients that actually reach their goal, they have to do the work. And it seems as though it's evident that you did the work.
Yes.
So I applaud you.
Thank you.
I applaud you. So competing priorities. I use that term in my book, Don't Let It Get You. That's where, we as women, and I'm not dismissing the men. You're happily married with 2 kids. I'm happily married, and we have 2 grown sons. But, we wear all these hats. And, our hats, there's just one on top of the other.
Yes.
With somebody's sister, with somebody's friend, with somebody, we work for somebody, or we have staff, So it's like we're somebody's parent in some cases, partner. It's just,
Right.
It goes on and on and on. And with each relationship, there are priorities within each relationship.
Absolutely.
How do you manage those? How do you manage your competing priorities?
Yeah, so that's a good question, because I think early on when I thought about, and maybe this is true for most people as well.
Right.
I think early on when I thought about the definition of balance, right?
Yes.
I thought that it was trying to divide your time equally, between the different competing priorities in
Right.
your life. That is just not possible. I mean, it's not possible to kind of split yourself, 3, 4, 5, 6 different ways and try to actually have equal time in all the areas in our lives. So I started to realize that there were going to be some times in my life where my career may have a priority over, something that's going on in my family, and vice versa. Something in my family may take priority over something going on in my career at the time.
Right.
And it was just realizing that it was okay sometimes to put one over the other, that I started to realize what balance really was about. And it was really about feeling fulfilled in all the different competing priorities or competing areas in my life. So as long as I felt fulfilled at work, if I couldn't make my child's event for whatever reason,
Ooh.
then I think that they understood that, and if work had to be put to the side, for something that was going on in my family,
Right.
then I didn't have to feel guilty about that.
Okay, well that's good. Yeah, because as you were, sharing, one would think that balance means equality across. It's a harmonious equilibrium that's really the balance.
Absolutely.
It's the ebbs and flows. So on your website, which I'll let you talk about that later, you had something there about the 4 R's of wellness. What are the 4 R's of wellness?
Yeah.
And
So
can you give an example?
Sure. So I think that when most people think about wellness, they think about the physical aspect of wellness.
Right.
Having a healthy body.
Right.
But wellness really encompasses, having healthy relationships. So that's a social wellness. It encompasses spiritual and mental wellness. It also encompasses occupational wellness, how connected we are to our careers.
Right.
And I think in order to be able to attain, wellness, we have to be intentional about it, and we have to put a plan in place. So I basically identified 4 verbs, or the 4 R's, to help people develop that plan to get them to the wellness that they were looking for, total wellness, basically. So the 4 R's are: reclaim your time, restore your relationships, renew your career, and recharge your health.
Are we going to do all 4 of those?
Well, you let me know, Dr. Joy. What would you like?
Let's start. Well, whoa. That's a lot, which is great, right? That's a big pie. Okay, so which one do you want to tackle first?
Well, I guess when we're talking about, balance, and I guess for, the working women out there and the moms.
Yes.
So reclaim your time, is a big one.
Yes.
Big one,
yes,
right?
It is.
And it's really about how do we be unapologetic about taking time for ourselves, and how do we do that without feeling guilty? How do we do that so that we're whole and that we're able to continue to give, to everyone else? Because if we are not given to ourselves, we certainly can't be there and give to anyone else.
Reclaim my time.
Yes.
Okay.
So reclaim your time, make time, schedule it in, pencil it in, so that you have it set aside. And that's a no cross zone, like do not disturb.
So what's an example of reclaiming your time? It could be something simple.
It can be something simple. So even if reading a book could be reclaiming your time.
Yes, it is.
Bubble bath.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Simple stuff. It doesn't have to be anything extravagant at all.
The second one about relationships, what's that one?
Yeah, so that's restoring your relationships. So just as I gave the example of, my daughter, basically, I think that sometimes we think that we don't really take a deep look into our relationships and how healthy they are.
Right.
And a lot of times we look at, we spent time together, so obviously everything must be fine.
No, not necessarily.
But not necessarily. We have to have those deep conversations with the people who we love to really get to know how they feel and what it is that they need and want, and vice versa.
So being present within the relationships that a person has.
Absolutely.
And the third R?
Yeah. So the third R is recharge your health.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So that's basically just taking the time, to make sure you're developing a wellness plan for yourself. And that can be as simple as starting off with just getting, a preventive health exam, so that you kind of know what your baseline is.
Right.
But
we don't like to do that sometimes.
I know. Yeah,
but it's very important.
It is. It is. It's very important. It's easy to do. It's better to know beforehand than to find out later on that something, could be brewing that you could have taken care of months ago.
And then it's too late.
And it's too late.
It could be too late.
Right.
And the last R?
And the last R is renewing your passion for your career.
Ooh.
Yeah. So I think that's important because a lot of people may not feel a connection with their work.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, and a lot of us don't have the liberty of just leaving our jobs, just because we don't feel fueled by the passion or because we don't feel purposeful. But I think that it's important for people to know that if the job is not serving you, then find a way that you can still be able to feel fulfilled with your work. Maybe you bring your gifts and your passions to your organization. Let them know what you're good at, and infuse it into, your career.
What's funny? I read, and I'm not going to quote the source because I'm probably going to misspeak. So I'm just going to say that I read a study somewhere. Okay, that about 98 or maybe it's 95% of the people out there that have careers, they're unhappy, they're unfulfilled. So the other 5%, they're working it. They're on a trajectory to work their passion. And they say, it has been said also, that if you find your passion, which I'll define as something that you love to do, doesn't have a time stamp, you could do it all day, all night. You don't even have to get paid for it. It's cool. You could do it, all right, for free. If you find your passion and you work your passion, you'll never really work a day in your life.
Correct.
So I always get the question, because now I'm at the age where people around me are retiring, and they say, "Oh, I'm retired. Oh, it's too bad for you. You still have to work." And I said, "I don't work.
Right.
I don't." They said, "But you do." Okay, maybe to you it looks like that, but I actually enjoy what I do, so I don't see it as work.
Right.
And in terms of the day that I'm going to retire, never. I'll retire when I'm no longer here.
Right. Yeah.
So how does one find their passion, in your opinion?
I think sometimes if it doesn't really come just naturally,
right?
I think a way to find your passion would be one way is to really think back to like when you were younger. What did you like to do? Like what caused you to kind of feel all bubbly inside? What gave you joy? What gave you fulfillment? So sometimes just thinking back to when we were younger of things that we like to do, and that we're, good at doing is a way to rediscover your passion. Or find out what your passion is, I should say.
I like that. I like that, and I appreciate you sharing that. Now, the Balance Doctor has services. Would you like to tell me about those?
Sure. So I have coaching services,
right?
Individual, one-on-one coaching services, and also group coaching services. And during those coaching services, which are usually virtual, telephonic, they can also be, done through Skype as well. I basically take my client through what I call several modules to help them to really take charge of their careers, their personal time and their relationships so that they can basically take back their life and have the relationships and the career and the health that they want. So
what's the typical client commitment?
Typical client commitment minimum would be 3 months. I think it takes at least that long to sort of, get to know the client and also to start to see some change take effect. So it would be a 3-month commitment.
So I assume that you do an assessment in the beginning, the middle, and the end.
Absolutely.
So you also have some really good news about your book. Yes. So tell me about your book and the title?
Yes.
When we can get it?
Yes, yeah, I'm so excited. So this is something when you asked about how do you find your passion.
Yes.
When I was a young girl, I loved to write.
Oh.
And somehow that got, lost a little along the way. And then when I was in Stony Brook, I took a writing class, and that just sort of, stirred that passion again. So I always said that at some point in my life, I wanted to write a book. It became a goal of mine. So I finally just put pen to paper and decided that I wanted to write a book, around this very topic of work-life balance for working moms. And my book is called Take Back Your Life.
Yes.
And I'm excited about it. It helps women to build basically that foundation for getting them through the different areas of their life. How do you navigate through the obstacles and just come out on the other side,
and recognizing that it is a process.
It is a process. It definitely is a process. So the book will be available January 21st on Amazon.
Oh, yay. Congratulations.
Thank you. And I'm really excited about it.
Oh, great. Okay. Now, we have a few more minutes. But before I ask you about the practical tips, all right, I know in the green room we had discussed that you also started a Facebook group.
Yeah. So I wanted to have, a place where I can have some intimate conversations with women and also just provide some tools and resources, for working moms. So I started a Facebook group. It's called Take Back Your Life, based on my book. And in that group, I just basically give some motivational quotes, some tips, some health resources, and it's wonderful. So you can easily find that on Facebook. Take Back Your Life, and join the group.
So we can follow you there. We can follow you on Twitter and...
Yes, on Twitter at The Balance Doctor.
Okay.
And Facebook and Instagram at Just the Right Balance.
Wonderful. So now we have a few minutes. We have about 5 minutes.
Okay.
Your top, say, 3 or 4 practical tips that you would like to share.
Wow. So I was thinking about this.
Yeah, because I was going to ask.
I know. I think the first one would be, maybe since we're coming up on the holidays, this would be a good practical tip.
Oh, boy. Here we go.
Yeah. So you know how we just always make these New Year's resolutions and set these huge goals, sometimes that we don't keep because it's hard to attain. I mean, to really set a huge goal and to say you're going to do it. And then when you don't reach the goal, then you're beating yourself up about it.
Right.
So a practical tip would be to just pick start off with a really small area in your life that you would like to see change. So let's just say it's, that you want to start an exercise program. Okay. Well, don't say you're going to go to the gym and try to bench press, 50 pounds or 100 pounds. Start small and make a commitment maybe to just start exercising 3 times a week. Start off with 15 minutes if you're new to exercise.
Right.
Okay, or 15 to 30 minutes. And just really, start small and work towards that goal. That's more attainable than setting a huge New Year's resolution.
Okay, small goal.
Small goals.
And another one?
Another tip would be I would think back to the reclaim your time. It would be just to take that 15 minutes a day, especially for women, I would say take 15 minutes a day just for yourself. And you could spend that time meditating, journaling, anything that kind of lets you reconnect, with yourself. So that's another tip. The third tip I would say is just to practice being present.
Oh, but okay, so now I'm going to sink into the chair. I know that you have to be conscious for that one, right?
Yeah, it's hard.
So how do you recommend we go about trying to be present?
Yeah, so, practicing, I think, being present it's practice. You have to work at it, basically. So a good way to really start, I think, is maybe by practicing meditation.
Okay.
And not making it very difficult, okay? Meditation could be just sitting in a quiet spot, eyes closed, deep breathing, and just really concentrating on your thoughts for 10 to 15 minutes.
Yeah, but my thoughts usually they start and then they just go.
And that's normal.
Okay.
That happens.
Okay.
But the more that you practice it, the more you start to have control over your thoughts.
Okay.
And the less and less that will happen.
Mm-hmm.
But that really trains you to become present. Really practicing meditation, I think, helps.
15 minutes?
You can start with 15 minutes. That's all you need. 15 minutes a day, as many times during the week as you can. But 15 minutes is all you need.
Wow. So practice the meditation to be present. Take time for yourself to reclaim your time.
Mm-hmm.
You said 15 minutes a day? I'm laughing because, when you have children, sometimes that's hard to do.
Mm-hmm.
When you're in between the shuttling for all their activities and you're getting yourself ready, getting them ready, then you're going out if you work outside the house or you work inside the house. So finding that time. Oh, wow. Okay. All right. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we can do it. We can maybe get up 15 minutes earlier, or we can shut it down at night 15 minutes earlier.
But rest is a very important element.
Absolutely.
Too, right? So we need to make sure that we get that R.
Yes. Yes.
Right? So once again, how can viewers contact you to sign up for your coaching sessions?
Yes, so they can actually go right to my website, justtherightbalance.com.
Love it.
And there's a contact section on the website. You can just put in your information and I'll get right back to you.
And will your book be on your website as well?
It will.
Okay.
Yes.
So that's really good. I want to congratulate you on your book.
Thank you.
I want to congratulate you and thank you for sharing your story and also helping other women reclaim their life and restore their relationships and be present, because we all need that.
Yes.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Joy. It's been a joy being here.
Oh. And you continue to do your work in the community too, because I read up on you. I know you do a lot of work in the community.
Yes, I will. I will definitely continue with that.
And take your 15 minutes as well.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Until next time, you guys, be blessed, stay healthy, reclaim your life, get some rest. See ya.